are looking for a complete tutorial on not only on waxing application, soft wax, but also on the theory and the contraindications and knowing how to and what not to do and who you should do waxing. Now this tutorial is specifically done for estheticians and students, but if you're here, then you're very welcome to look at it, and maybe you might be interested in doing the service on yourself or find a good esthetician that is able to do it for you. So first of all, let's look at shaving. We are cutting the hair, most likely around that area. But with that, we're also nicking or cutting off some of the skin. That is why when you're shaving, you may cause like little pimples, little irritation. Now when you shave, yes, the pro is that it's quick. You can do it in the tub, in the shower, and it's done. However, right away, within a day or so, the hair will start sticking out and you will have a blunt hair coming out, and you'll feel the little prickly coming out. But the process is done very quickly. However, when we do waxing, on the other hand, we are applying, and I just applied here, the wax. Okay, and they're all different colors of waxes, yes. And this arrow is showing that we are applying the wax with the direction of the hair. Then we apply, and I have here a cloth type of strip. This is the cloth, and then we put a little bit of pressure, and then we rip it against the hair growth. Now, pros and cons. The pros is that the hair will take a while to come back, and when it comes back very thin, and you're removing it from the bulb. So for it to come back, the hair to come back from here and coming out, it will take about, I would say, 4 to 6 weeks, depending in the area and depending also how thick the hair was. You're also removing all the dead skin, so it's a really good desquamation removal, almost like a scrub removing. Now, the con is that it will take time and effort. You have to buy the product. It's not as cheap as a shaver, and if you don't like to do it yourself, then you will need to go to an esthetician. So there is pros and cons for both procedures. And let me show you why I don't agree in a waxing of the face. Now, first of all, you're pulling, you're causing a lot of damage to the skin. But one of the biggest thing is that when you wax the face and you have this terminal hair, the hair will not go any deeper. So that is, you will pull it out, it will come out, and then it will come back within the 4 to 6 weeks. However, this little hair here, when you stimulate it, you pulled it out. Now there's no hair there, but guess what happens? Blood goes to the area. Okay, so let me do like a little drawing here. Okay, so guess what? Blood will go to the area to repair, to nourish. And guess what? In the blood, we have nutrients. And it will bring nutrients to the hair, causing, and let's see here, let me go, causing the little hair to come up stronger, a teeny bit stronger. If we have a deeper bulb or follicle, then the hair itself will also grow a little bit stronger. Continuously waxing this little lanugo hair, the next time the follicle goes a little bit deeper, and then a little bit deeper, and then a little bit deeper. And guess what? Every time it goes a little bit deeper, the hair becomes a bit stronger, and a little bit stronger, and a little bit stronger, and so on. And as it gets stronger, it gets also darker. I'm not saying that this one here will turn into this one, but from being a villus or lanugo hair, it will turn out to become an accelerated, means a longer lanugo hair. Stop the video and look at some of these contraindications like sun tanning, varicose veins, any form of skin diseases, cuts and abrasions, sores, bruises, not the little bruises, but big bruises, warts and moles and birthmarks. Those are you have to be very careful. If somebody has very hypersensitive skin, recent scar tissue, now this you have to be very careful, and heart condition. So if you can stop the video and look at it and get some notes down, that's really, really important. Now, some of the medications that you have to be very careful. One is Accutane. If somebody's taking internal Accutane, my goodness, be very careful. Somebody is applying Retin-A on their face, do not do waxing. Be very careful. Somebody takes antibiotics, the skin is very sensitive. Birth control pills, hormones, you need to know. You have to ask those questions. Any blood thinners? Okay, no waxing. And if sometimes you can be a little bit careful, maybe small strips, but you need to know. Somebody has any autoimmune diseases, cancer, chemo, diabetes, areas to be avoided, of course, eyelids, everybody knows that. Inside, well, even though a lot of people do wax inside the nose, be very careful because inside of the nose is highly vascularized. Any form of cysts, be very careful. Be careful. If the client is using any kind of exfoliators on the skin, be very careful too. Any cancer growths. Okay, now this is also very important. It's very difficult to ask, hey, have you had alcohol, caffeine? Because these two thin out the skin and the skin becomes more sensitive and you can cause problems. And I'm going to be putting some pictures of individuals that did not pay attention on all these, and they actually basically ripped the surface of the skin. So ripped this part off, and not a good situation. I know that a lot of times we don't want to spend those 5 minutes prior to the treatment to figure out if the client has any form of contraindications. But do yourself a favor. Take those few minutes so you know that you have done everything possible. Because if something happens that you rip the skin off or causing major irritation, you can always go back and say, hey, I asked you the question. Did you have alcohol? Are you on medication? And if something happens, it's her fault that she did not divulge that she is on medication or not. I'm going to go over each tool that I have here. So on one side I have all my tools, and on the other side I will have my products. I have a nice clean warmer, and so you might not have this ring, this one here, which I change every time the client, or if it gets dirty I will throw away. This is just cardboard. But if you don't have that, or you cannot purchase it, then you can put some foil wrap, so you keep always very sanitary. Inside the warmer you will have the wax. Now here you see many spatulas. Very important that you do not want to have one spatula. You will have to have at least 20 or 30 of them, because you do not want to double dip. What does that mean? You go into the wax, you put it onto the leg or underarm, and then you go back in with the same spatula. That is not good. So that is double dipping, very, very unsanitary. Here we have a different size. This one here is more for let's say bikini or smaller areas, like the eyebrow or upper lip, whatever you're waxing, small areas, small spatula. Wax strips, now I buy them in rolls, and then I cut them at the length that I want. Okay, so maybe for underarms it's going to be half, for upper lip it's going to be a quarter. So I cut them at the size that I want. Cotton discs here to clean the area before I do the service. Here you will see several items, 2 different types of tweezers. Tweezers are very important because sometimes not all the hair will come out, so you might need to tweeze them. And I also like this pointy ones, because a lot of times with a pointy one you can go much closer to, let's see here, right here. So you can go really, really close to the base of the hair. Okay, Another thing that I have here is this one here is very important, is a lancet. It is a very, very sharp needle, and this is good to get. See, let's focus here. Yeah, to if you have something that's ingrown, and then once you use it, and let's say you can have 2 or 3 ingrowns, you can use the same one on the same client. But once that's done, you will need to put the cap on, put it into the sharp container. Nice pair of scissors. You always need scissors to cut the eyebrows or cut the bikini line and so on. Here I have loofah. There's a glove. There's 2 different consistency. One is softer and one is rougher, and the brush. These are tools that you need to have to sell your client or to advise your client what she needs to do few days after the waxing. Okay, so let's go back to the theory. Once you remove the hair and you apply your tea tree oil or antiseptic oil, whatever, which is very good. Sometimes, however, because it takes 4 to 6 weeks, or sometimes even longer, or sometimes faster, for the hair to come out, you will get like the ostia or the opening here clogged up. And if that's not cleaned up, guess what? The hair will try to come out. There is a plug, and then the hair, instead of to come out, it will go back down. So with the loofah or the skin brush, you're keeping the area nice and clean. Have those ones there, and maybe you have a few of them for sale. It's a very good step to do. To continue here, I will have my strips. Now try to cut at least 20 or 30 or 40, depending how many you need. Gloves, and I like to have non-latex gloves because a lot of individuals are allergic to latex. Plus I like this type of glove because it goes on and it feels almost like a second skin, so it's really good. So non-latex. Oh yes, the high frequency machine, and this is so essential because there's argon and neon. And if you want to know more about this machine, I have 2 different tutorials, so go and check them out. But this one here, you will have to put into this handle. I'm not going to put it on now. And after you do waxing, especially bikini and underarms and upper lip, you want to go over it. Basically, it's ozone that will disinfect, so no bacteria will go inside the hair follicle here, and you're going to prevent a lot of problems. So if you are a professional esthetician or learning, get yourself a high frequency. I will put a link below for a home use device, which are just as good, very good. And I will put the one that has both the neon and the argon. You will have products. And of course, first of all, this is to T36, and there's a lot of different disinfectants, but this one here is a medical grade, okay, hospital grade disinfectant, and it kills all the bacteria. So after the client is gone, I disinfect everything. This is alcohol. Now you don't want to put alcohol, straight alcohol, right in onto the skin. So I have a little bottle, and I make it as an antiseptic. So if I do 50-50, it's a stronger antiseptic. Usually for the skin, I like to do 30-70. For the face, for the body, maybe a little bit stronger. Baby powder, and that is very important. And if you don't like baby powder, use cornstarch. Here I have an oil just for after soothing oil for after the waxing. Additional pots of wax, always good to have it. And I have my True Science. I love these products. This one here is more for the face. This one here is more for moisture, so you can put a couple of drops on before the client goes, but you want her to know about them, for not only for her face but also for her body. So the preparation is everything. Before we do anything, before we touch the wax to the client, we do need to test the wax. So we just go inside here and we test the wax to see if the wax is okay. And the wax is good, not too hot. And then I would test it also on the area, just a little bit like this, on the area that I'm going to be treating. Here, remember, 30% alcohol and 70% water. I fill this up with this antiseptic, and I wipe the area. The purpose of doing this is to remove all the natural oils, but not only that, also to disinfect the area. So essential, because we have bacteria, and when we pull the hair out, we also open up. It's almost like me doing like a miniature wound. So now the skin is all nice and clean. We'll take either baby powder or cornstarch, okay? And you just take a little bit. Please don't pour it right onto the client body, or you can take a little bowl and get a powder like this, okay? Put it in the bowl, and then lightly you put the powder. The powder, what it does, a few things. First, it absorbs if there's any moisture, number one. And number two, it makes like a barrier. So now the wax will not adhere right onto the skin, but it will adhere to the hair. So go in here. I like to rotate. Okay. And I'm going to do like the lower arm wax here. And I do from here, you go down, down, and down. Okay. Like this. Now my hair, somehow they go down this way. A lot of people, the hair, they go down like this. So remember, you have to apply the wax with the direction of the hair. The spatula has to be 45 degrees and it goes down nicely. Now it's drying up, because if you go down like this, it sticks and it does not feel good on the client. Okay, so you want to start right in here and you work yourself 45 degrees and you go down. Okay, now this one here, this spatula, I cannot go back in. Okay, you just have to throw this one out. Now you get your clean strip. Now there's two ways you can do it. Let's say go on the side here. Okay, now I'm doing it on myself, so it's a little bit more difficult. Okay, and you go like this, rip, and then pressure. The purpose of the pressure, so it takes away the pain. Okay, again, you can reuse the strip. To the wax, rip, and hold. Again, so remember that you're applying the wax with the direction of the hair, and then you pull it against. Clean off all the wax before you go to the next step. So let's do another strip so you can see. Okay, so you rotate so you don't spill the wax anywhere. Okay, apply the wax down like this, nice and thin. Okay, so again, has to be 45 degrees, and you work yourself all the way down, all the way down. Okay, so I don't like to put it down like this because two reasons. More, it's quite painful that way, and plus you don't have anywhere to hold on. So I like to do it in two steps, much better. So pressure, 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 so the strip is nicely adhered. Rip and hold, and then hold down there, rip, and then hold, and then with the strip, the leftover strip, you can remove all the stickies. So okay, so now we have completed the wax procedure. Get yourself some antiseptic, clean the area if there's any left over. Talk to the client about the contraindications, like do not go on the sun, do not go into a hot tub for 24 hours. Okay, protect your skin, apply moisturizer, explain the products that she needs to do, that she needs to exfoliation continuously, not right away. In the next like 3 or 4 days, she should do that like every time she goes into the shower. So it's nice, no hair here, but it's not finished. In here, in my oil, I have put some tea tree, and I apply that very light. Don't put too much because you don't want the client to go home all sticky. Okay, and if the client did the bikini or underarm or upper lip, I do advise the high frequency in the area. So after you apply the oil, you get the high frequency and you do that area. Beautiful. All done. Feels good because it's not only the hair is gone, it's also an exfoliation. So all the dead skin is gone. At the end of the service, your area should be nice and neat, never messy. The only thing you'll need to see is maybe your spatulas that you used, areas that you need to sanitize. Remember to get yourself a very good sanitizer, and you sanitize your tools and of course your machine, and clean your warmer so it is perfect for the next client. Hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and you're taking away good information and good skill, not only for yourself but for others. Take care, treat yourself with respect. Until the next time.